Rian Gayle, Research Officer at the Jamaica Association for the Deaf, along with his interpreter. That is up next.
Welcome back to CVM at Sunrise. Now it is Disability Awareness Week and it's geared towards highlighting issues relating to the community of persons with disabilities and the urgent need for all Jamaicans to accept, include and integrate these persons into society. But what are some of the challenges faced by members of the disability community? Well, joining us this morning are Christine Hendricks. She's the Executive Director for Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities. We also have Mr. Rian Gayle, who is a deaf person. He's a research officer at the Jamaica Association for the Deaf, the JAD, along with his interpreter. Her name is Antoinette Aiken. Welcome to all of you. Welcome to CVM at Sunrise.
Thank you for having me.
She's busy doing her thing. Good morning and yes, all of that. All right, so I want to talk about the Awareness Week and mainly the theme. The theme this week is Together for a Better World. For all, including persons
with disabilities in development.
How appropriate is this theme? Talk to us about it.
It is very appropriate at this time when the world is focusing on persons with disabilities and the fact that these persons can be valuable members of society and so should be allowed to be a part of the development processes that take place in any nation. For a number of years, persons with disabilities have been stigmatized, discriminated against. And so what we're saying is that people with disabilities are human beings with much potential and they have what it takes to participate, and so society should allow such persons to participate.
I want to bring in Rian here then, because he has a disability, he is deaf, and we're talking about maybe even the work environment and the discriminations. How has it been for you, and what have you faced as someone with a disability in the work environment?
Well, now I'm working with deaf people, so it's not that bad. There are not a lot of challenges. But in the past, when I worked with the hearing community, there were a lot of challenges. There was no communication access. I had a hard time to participate in staff meetings. And also, there is not a lot of things for deaf persons to participate in independently. If I wanted to call someone, I had to rely on someone to call for me. And also, if there was a fire alarm alert, there was no flashing lights. I didn't know what was going on. If there was a fire, I had to depend on someone. So communication was a challenge when I was working with hearing people.
I can imagine, because we tend to not consider people with disabilities when we're building the structures, when we're organizing.
Yes.
Yes, you totally agree.
Yes. And also, you have to think about emergencies. Deaf person can't call 911. 119, sorry. So things like that needs to be changed.
I agree. And I'm going to bring it in here now, talking about the barriers that the individuals face, not just for someone who's deaf, but people who are disabled, as it relates especially to healthcare. What is that like now in Jamaica?
I must say that things are changing because the Ministry of Health has taken on the aspect of Vision 2030 that deals with developing its systems and structures to accommodate its clients, and its clients would include persons with disabilities. So far, we have done quite a number of training with their frontline officers to ensure that they not only understand how to communicate with persons who are deaf, but they also understand how to communicate with persons with intellectual disabilities. So you'll have to be a little bit more patient with such persons. They are now understanding how to deal with persons who are blind, because many persons tend to think that once you have a disability, everybody should be treated the same way. And so we have been going around to the different regions and conducting training with these persons to ensure that the customer service delivery is on top.
And when you talk about disabilities, we're talking about people with mental disabilities,
yes,
intellectual disabilities, yes, sensory disabilities, which includes the blind and the deaf.
Right.
And is there any more?
persons with physical disabilities. Usually when persons say they have a disability, everybody is categorized as having a physical disability. So there are 4 main categories of these persons.
And you know, when you talk about individuals who don't have disabilities interacting with persons who do have disabilities, what are some of the recommendations that you would give in terms of them going about interacting and developing that relationship?
Well, people are people, and yes, there may be some, you know, slight differences, as I said earlier, in terms of interacting with persons with intellectual disabilities. All you have to do is just make sure your statements are simple. And if your statements are simple and maybe repetitive, then persons with intellectual challenges or intellectual disabilities will not have such great challenges understanding and communicating. Persons with other disabilities, I mean, there should not be many. Persons who are deaf, as you know, there should be the sign language interpretation. Some people can read lips. Some persons who are deaf can read lips because they're hard of hearing. And you know, some persons use a hearing aid to assist them in hearing. So
I want to ask Rian what he would like to see from the society, from the communities, in terms of how we interact and what kind of system is developed for people who are disabled and especially who are deaf.
I want to see more deaf persons with disabilities integrated into Jamaican society, and also Jamaican society be open-minded with them and try to understand where they're coming from, because I notice nowadays many people will see a person with a disability or deaf and they're still looking at them like it's the first time they're seeing them. So I understand maybe they think, I think maybe we need to be out there more too and build awareness. And also I think it's important for everyone to remember that whatever is happening or whatever you're doing, you should involve people with disabilities from the beginning, from the planning stage.
Right.
So they need access, like maybe closed caption on TV. They need PSA when they have public announcement systems. They need text, and they need things like that. Make sure everybody is integrated into one society.
And they should just be standard things that we set up from the beginning.
Right.
Definitely.
Right. Because that's the only way people can be a part of the whole development process if you're there. If you're going to be hitched on towards the end, then it is going to be seen as, well, it's too costly to hitch you on at the end, and money will be an issue. But if you're a part of the process from the beginning, then money will not become an issue.
Okay, talk to us about the launch of the website, the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities. You know about it, the launch? It's just launching now. There is a website where people can find out more information and get involved?
No, we do not have a website as yet. We should have been launching the website today, but that did not that is not going to happen this year. What we will be doing for the rest of the week, though, is tomorrow we will be having a health fair at the early stimulation program that's on 95 Hanover Street. And on Friday we'll be having a sports and fun day at the UTEC front field, and on Saturday, which is International Day for Persons with Disabilities, we will be in Emancipation Park with an expo and concert, and Miss Jamaica International, Miss Deaf Jamaica, who is Miss Deaf International, will be officially launching that day and that event.
You know, when I heard about the website, I was so excited. You guys need to get onto that and make it happen.
Yes.
And yes, Miss Jamaica Deaf, she was here. She came a couple of times when she entered the pageant and when she won. So we're very proud of her as well. And thanks so much for sharing.
Thank you for having us. Yes.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, same here. All right, so please support our disabled people in Jamaica. We are all one, and the theme, as let me just remind you, is Together for a Better World for All, including persons with disabilities in development. All right, that's our motto for this morning. Still to come, a conference on starch. We'll tell you more about it. We'll also begin our first in our series of the Sherwood